let me ask you something. You work Monday to Friday, right? 5 days a week. But what if I told you that you're actually working a sixth day, a full 8-hour day, hidden somewhere in your week? Oh, and the catch? You don't get a single dime for it. It's this phantom workday that's just draining your time, your energy, and your bank account. And we're about to dive deep into how this happens. It's a financial pitfall we call the driveway trap. So let's get right into it. We are going to unpack how the dream of owning a home, the thing that's supposed to build your wealth, might actually be the very thing making you poorer one commute at a time. Okay, first things first, we need to talk about this idea of a shadow workday. Think of it as the unpaid job you never even applied for, but you might be showing up for every single day. And this is where it gets really crazy. Your commute, it's not just travel time. You need to start thinking of it as unpaid labor. Seriously, for so many people in major Canadian cities, if you add up all those hours stuck in traffic, it's the same as working an entire extra day every single week for free. So how on earth did we get here? Well, it usually starts with a dream and some, let's call it, deceptive math. You've probably heard the advice, drive until you qualify. Basically, just keep moving further and further out until you can afford a house. Sounds logical, right? And on the surface, it looks like a no-brainer. You see the mortgage payment for a place in the city, and wow, it's high. But then you look at a bigger, nicer place out in the suburbs, and the monthly payment is way lower. It feels like a massive financial win. But this is only one half of the picture. And this is the other half. This is where the trap snaps shut. Of course, shelter is your number one expense. No surprise there. But look what's creeping right up behind it, in second place, transportation. You see, you didn't actually save that money. You just tricked yourself. You converted a housing cost into a transportation cost. All right, so let's follow the money, shall we? It's time to pull back the curtain and uncover the true, relentless drain that this car-dependent life is putting on your wallet. Let's start with a hard number. Back in 2019, and this is before all the crazy inflation really kicked in, the average Canadian household was already dropping over $11,000 a year just on their cars. That is a huge chunk of anyone's budget. But it gets so much worse. From 2019 to 2023, that cost shot up by almost 23%. This wasn't just a little bump, it actually grew faster than overall inflation. Everything from gas prices to insurance just squeezed people harder and harder. Now here's where it gets really personal. When you add everything up, and I mean everything, not just gas, the real cost to operate your car is about 54 cents for every single kilometer you drive. Think about that. Every trip to the grocery store, every commute to work, the meter is running. And here's why that number is so high. We all feel the pain of operating costs at the gas pump, right? But the real invisible killer on this chart, it's depreciation. That's your car losing value every single time you turn the key. It's often the biggest single cost of owning a car, but you don't feel it day to day. You feel it when you go to sell and realize it's worth a fraction of what you paid. And that brings us to the absolute core of this whole problem. It's time to start thinking about your car differently. It's not just a machine. It's an active financial force that is working directly against your single biggest investment, your home. So let's go back and put an official label on that shadow workday we talked about. It's the real economic value of all that time you spend commuting. When you combine those lost hours with the 54 cents per kilometer you're literally burning, you're not just losing time anymore, you are losing thousands and thousands of dollars every year. So here it is, the big contrarian takeaway from all of this. Your car is not an asset, it's a parasite, and it is slowly, systematically eating your house. All that money you thought you were saving on a cheaper mortgage, it's just being devoured by that depreciating machine sitting in your driveway. And look, this isn't just a gut feeling that you're stretched thin. It's a real, measurable problem. Financial experts have a rule of thumb. Your housing and transportation costs combined shouldn't be more than 45% of your income. But for tons of families in the suburbs, they're blowing right past that number, leaving them in this constant state of financial stress. Okay, so that's the trap. It's pretty bleak. But just knowing about it is only the first step. The good news is there's a way out. There's a simple protocol you can follow to start reclaiming your money and, maybe more importantly, your time. We're calling it the one-car protocol, and it's incredibly simple. For so many families, having two cars just seems normal. But the single most powerful financial move you can probably make is to figure out how to get by with just one. And then, and this is the important part, you take all that money you're saving and you put it to work for you.
And the number here is it's staggering. A family that goes from 2 cars down to 1 could save over $12,000 a year. That's not a little discount. That is a massive tax-free raise that you can give yourself year after year after year.
So, the real takeaway here is that the most expensive traps we fall into are often the ones hidden in plain sight, the ones we just accept as normal. We've just uncovered the driveway trap, so it leaves one final question. What happens when you start looking at your other big expenses with that same critical eye? What's really hiding on your grocery receipt?